Has my stream not worked? Oh no, it's on. Okay. Sorry, just putting the stream in the Discord. Okie dokie. Hello everyone and welcome back to ESRL. It is Friday night and that means it's time for more of the Elite Settings Racing League. We're here for round 11 out of 12. 2 rounds to go in this nail-biting championship, and we're here in one of the toughest tracks on the calendar with no racing line. It is Kota for the penultimate round of the season. Hello to Spaled Wrong in the chat. Hello to Glowstick in the chat as well. One of the new drivers today, as well as Scotty, who I'm sure I have seen Scotty before. This Scott, not this Scott, the other Scotty, and Johnny Stokes. Yeah, Scotty and Johnny Stokes made their debuts last week in Miami. But we've got Lost. Oh God, there's so many ways I can pronounce that. Frido, Lost. Lost. That's what we'll go with for now. I'm pretty sure that's the name of the league that he's part of, or the esports team or whatever that he's part of. But we'll go with Fredo, and he can incorrect me if I'm wrong. How about that? Well, like I say, we're here in Kota for round 11 of 12 of this fantastic season. Jackalacco is going to set the first lap of the session. He just got very, very, very unlucky in the APP race at Monza just a few minutes ago. Was going to be on the podium until the final lap, and he got spun on the final lap. It was such a shame. I was right behind, but he's going to be hoping for some redemption here in Kota in ESRL today. And that was a bit of a struggle through Sector 1 by the looks of it. DRS open all the way down this long straight as he gets blinded by the sun in the background. Excuse me. And breaks out the 150 meter board for this tight left-hander, and now the very, very tricky final sector, a right, and then you've got to get the power down as early as you can, and then the left again. It's so easy to spin it because of the camber on the exit here, but Jackalacco just survives with a little bit of a slide through there, and now this long right-hander which is full throttle, try and get close to the inside curb as possible. Jacko just playing it safe there, and the final 2 corners, the penultimate corner, completely blind, so you've got to get your braking zone and turning point correct, and then Jackalacco sets a 35-0 to start off this session. I'm not sure who next across the line is going to be. We've got QB on a lap and Scott. DTS Ayrton coming to the line, a 33.9. That is the more like the real pace that's going to be set today. Speed Alcoholic, 32.8 from the South African as he looks to complete his championship charge. He's currently sitting in P3 in the championship. Let's have a quick look at the championship standings. Going into the last 2 rounds of the season, it is Short Marcus on top of the leaderboard with 132 points, but TF Mar10, his main rival the whole season, is only 8 points behind on 124. Speed Alcoholic on 116, only 16 points behind Short Marcus. So 16 points separate the top 3 going into the last 2 rounds. It's a nail biter, and if anything goes wrong between those top 3, Spaled Wrong is not that far behind to try and pick up the pieces in terms of the points, although he's invalidated his first effort today. Johnny Stokes goes to P2, 7/10 back from Speed Alcoholic, and I think we might start to realise just how good that lap is from Speed as more and more people come across the line. Glowstick goes P4 on his debut lap for ESRL. We've got the two Hasses. There's DTS already finished a lap. Lancer is invalidated. What about the other Ferrari? That's Speed Alcoholic. There's the Alpine of Spaled Wrong also on a lap, but he's just started. But then there's also the championship leader who's in Sector 3. Womax has retired from the session. Somehow, on the exit of the pit lane, I have no idea how he's managed that. But Short Marcus coming to the final corner now. Can the championship leader put it on provisional pole? No, he can't. It's only P2, and it's half a second behind Speed Alcoholic at this early stage of the session. What a lap this is proving to be from Speed. Martin, though, he's coming through the last few corners. The other main championship challenger, is it going to be the top three in the championship? In the top three in the opening laps of this quali session. DRS open to the line. No, it's P2 for Martin, just behind Speed, but what an opening lap from the South African in the Ferrari. He is on provisional pole for now after all seems to be said and done. We've got Lost Friedo in the Alfa Romeo in the first sector right now. We'll see if we'll get an idea of the newbies' pace in this quali session, hopefully. But Friedo coming through down the long straight. I don't know what, I don't really know what to compare his Sector 2 time with, as it won't compare it on the screen. Lance has gone out on the medium tyres for now. He did a 102.7 in Sector 2, so let's see what Friedo is, a 3.2. So I don't think Friedo is going to be battling with the front drivers as of yet, but Lance has invalidated his lap at the penultimate corner and dives into the pits. And he's going to be strapping on a set of the softs to go again next time. He's just saving a set, I think, of those soft tyres, just in case there's some late safety car shenanigans like we got about half an hour ago in APP. But Friedo coming to the line, it looks like a 34.2, and that's P6 for the Alfa Romeo newbie, just ahead of Aces versus Kings, who's now demoted to P7. But everyone else in the pits, Spaled Wrong, must have invalidated his effort. And the second wave of laps will begin soon. Not much downtime around this circuit, as the lap is a minute and a half long, so you've got to be in the pits and out again. Pretty much. Not too much room to manoeuvre in terms of time. DTS on an out lap. Clamo not on a lap right now, but he's down in P11, which is very surprising. QB a long way back. Of course, hopefully he can get closer to the pack in terms of his times as the session goes on. Yeah, okay, through the penultimate corner he goes and into the pits. So he'll be trying again in a few minutes. Scotty, though, on an outlap in the Mercedes. Is anyone on a lap right now? Jack Halako is, I think, in the Williams, coming through Sector 1. Let's see if he can nail this corner better than he did last time. No, he's 3 seconds down on his previous best, so not pushing at all at the moment. So Scotty is the one to watch in the Mercedes. Down towards turn 1 he goes. There's a car just coming out the pits, which just about avoids getting in his way, thankfully, but that looked very on the edge from Scotty there. A bit of a slide on the exit. Coming through the S's of Sector 1 he goes. Oh, very close to invalidating there. Just about got away with the track limits. He didn't get away with it that time, though. That is an invalidated lap time in Sector 1, unfortunately for him. And I think we will see a lot of that. DTS Ayrton starting a lap as well. At the moment, he's exactly 1 second behind Speed, but he's in P5, which just goes to show, I think, how tough this track is. It really exacerbates the gap between the top drivers and the midfield. But DTS Ayrton Coming through Sector 2 now, he was only 14 thousandths of a second up on his previous best in Sector 1. And down he goes towards the sector line, brakes for the left-hander. Gets the power down on the exit, and he's 1.5 tenths up. It's not going to be enough as it stands to get him up any positions, but it should secure his 5th place as it stands, although he was very squirrely on the exit there. Coming around this corner, doesn't quite use all of the track, doesn't quite hit the apex. Is he going to hug the inside here? Yes, he is. And now down towards the blind penultimate corner, and misses the apex completely. That'll have lost him at least a tenth, and yeah, he's straight into the pits. That's his lap over. He'll be trying again, but Speed Alcoholic, the man on provisional pole. It's the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship, in the top 3 in the session, but Speed is 1.5 tenths down in Sector 1 on his previous best. He must have had an absolute flyer in that first sector. He's coming through Sector 2 now, see if he can improve. There's so many places to gain time at this circuit. It's not like a track like Monza or Austria where every corner counts. If you mess up one corner, you can gain it all back in another. As Speed Alcoholic now comes to this tricky left-hander, a bit of a oversteer moment on the exit, does gain a tenth through Sector 2, so this lap is not over yet for the South African. He still could improve on his previous best and make that provisional pole lap time even more formidable. Through the final sector he comes. Speed has never really been in a major championship battle in ESRL this late in a season, in really any league that I've known him in anyway. I'm sure he's been in championship battles in other leagues, but APP and ESRL, he hasn't really been fighting for titles this late into a season usually, so he's doing a fantastic job, but not able to improve on his previous best there as Lancer goes to P3, only less than a tenth behind Speed Alcoholic, and he has joined the party of those top 3, and he's going to disrupt the battle between the Drivers' Championship contenders a little at the moment. Johnny Stokes not that far behind either. He's coming to the end of his lap in the McLaren. See if he can improve. Through the final corner he goes. DRS open, and it's a 33.3, and he beats short Marcus to P4. Spaled One gets a lap in as well. He's P6. Marcus, though, beats him back. Gains a lot of time in the last sector, and he's only a tenth and a half off Speed. It is so close up there at the front with the top 4, and I think Johnny Stokes has room to improve as well. But then a big gap down to Spaled Wrong and the rest of the midfield. But if there's anything I know about Spaled Wrong, it's that he can pick up the pieces when things go wrong. He is very, very good at that, especially this season. That's why he's got a win under his belt. Although, no, that's not fair. That's not a fair comment. He won that race in Qatar purely because he was the fastest driver on the grid. But at other places, he's gotten podiums just from picking up pieces, from doing well, and not making mistakes at crucial times. Who else is on a lap? I know Spaled Wrong is on one, but he's not improving. Lost Frido is not improving either. He's invalidated as well. Ace versus Kings coming to Sector 2. In the meantime, Clemo has invalidated again in the Red Bull. It's not an ideal session for him. Scotty invalidated again as well. And QB comes to the end of his lap, but again, long way back off the pace. As now Aces comes down the long straight. We're going to see where he is in Sector 2 very shortly. Going through this corner. And down to the sector line, 4.5 tenths up. Very, very impressive from Aces. I've had some fantastic battles with him on this circuit before. In APP Tier 1 Season 2, me and him had a brilliant battle for the lead. On this track. It was the last race of the season. It was fantastic. Neither of us won the championship, but we finished on the same number of points that season. It was brilliant. But he goes to P7, improves by 4.5 tenths, and is right up there with Spaled Wrong. Very impressive from the British driver. Spaled is lamenting over Miami in the chat. Thinks he should have won. won that race, and perhaps he should have done, but can't afford to dwell in these kinds of championship battles. You've got to just power through and forget what happened. Forget, it doesn't matter. All the rest of the races, they don't matter. All that matters is what happens right now. And as DTS goes for a bit of a slide through that latter part of Sector 1. Is anyone else on the lap? TGT Glowstick just starting one in the Mercedes, coming through turn 1 now. As all the rest of the cars diligently move out of the way. And we're going to ride on board with him, see what he can do in that first sector. Only 2 minutes left to go in this session. The last laps are getting started now. And here is where it all matters. Glowstick 4/10 down in the first sector. Wow. He will not be happy with that at all. DCS Ayrton invalidated. He's going to go again. Aces, I don't think he's going to have time to go again. No, he's not. He's got to come into the pits. Surely he's not going to have enough ERS to go all the way around in the fashion that he wants to. And his tyres are going to be a bit worn as well. I'd be surprised if he improves. But who knows? It looks like Scott's going to give him a bit of a tow, perhaps. No, Aces into the pit, so he is done for this session. But Martin just starting a lap in the Red Bull right now. He's only half a tenth off pole position as it stands. So close to invalidating there. That was right on the edge through Sector 1. And down towards the next part of the track. Brake hard for this left-hander and get on the power as soon as you dare. All the way across the curb. And a bit squirrely on the exit as well, just trying to get that power down. DRS open all the way down. He's getting a tow from Clemo as well. Great teamwork from the Red Bulls. Clemo's going to move out the way. Yeah, there he goes. And Martin brakes for the left-hander. Let's see if he's up on his time in Sector 2, all the way across the curb. Brilliant line from him, but he's 8.5 tenths down. So no improvement for Martin. He's got 30 seconds to get back across the line and try again. Is that enough time, I wonder, though? Speed coming through Sector 1 now. He's starting his final attempt. Lancer as well, 2 tenths up in Sector 1. Can he snatch pole from under the noses of all of these championship contenders? Failed wrong starting a lap as well at one of his many home Grand Prix. I think he's got 4 home Grand Prix Grand Prix on this year's game. Lancer coming through Sector 2 now. Where's Martin? He's not improving, but he's going to have to go again. He's only got 30% battery though, and that's going to be it. Martin, no improvement, so he's going to be P2 at best. What about Speed Alcoholic? He's up in Sector 1, but only by half a tenth. It wouldn't be enough to beat Lancer. What can he do in Sector 2? He's only 1.5 tenths up. He's lost a tenth in the second sector. Can he gain it back in the final sector? It's so difficult. You can gain so much time in Sector 1, but it's so easy to lose it all in the rest of the track. Short Marcus on a lap as well. He's 1.5 tenths up in Sector 2. This is fantastic. Johnny Stokes is facing the wrong way, so he's not going to be challenging for pole. Spelled wrong. What's he at in Sector 2? 5.5 tenths down, so he's not going to be challenging either. Speed Alcoholic 1.5 up. He's coming through the final 2 corners. Lancer takes pole by 3 tenths though. What a lap from the Haas driver. Speed Alcoholic through the final corner. Can he challenge him? No. It's only 0.5 tenth improvement and he remains P2. But what about Short Marcus? He's 3.5 tenths up in Sector 2. Can he snatch pole position from Lancer right at the very end? It's currently Lancer and then the top 3 in the championship, 2, 3 and 4. Can Marcus change that through the final corner? He needs a huge improvement in the final sector. Can he find it? Gets a bit squirrely on the exit. It's not enough. 32.7 for the championship leader. It's front row but not pole. It's DRL Lancer who steals it from all 3 of them right at the death. What a qualifying session. Marcus, Speed and Martin 2, 3 and 4. You couldn't ask for more drama. Glowstick forgot to turn on ERS at the beginning of his lap. He will be gutted with that. Lost Frito down in P11. Scotty didn't manage to set a lap in the end at all. Invalidated all his attempts. So he'll start all the way down in 15th. Whew. Marcus did not expect that, he says in the chat, but he never expects when he does well. He's been sweating a new setup for the last hour and a half. Louis in the chat as well, watching on. Glowsticks lamenting in the chat as well. Great to see so much activity, but what a quali session, and here's hoping the race is just as exciting. So it is DRL Lancer who takes pole position away from all of the championship contenders in this US Grand Prix. Short Marcus up there on the front row with him, though, the championship leader. Flanked by Speedaholic and Martin. Johnny Stokes in P5, Clemo in 6th in the end, improved by quite a lot. Spaled Wrong down in 7th, Aces in 8th in the end, but still very good pace from him. Glowstick and DTS Ayrton make up the rest of the top 10, with Lost Frito, Scott, Jackalacco, and QB, the last of the ones to set a time, with Scotty and Woomax unable to set a time in the session. Marcus asking in the chat whether Speed and Martin messed up their last laps or invalidated or something. Martin messed it up. I can't remember what happened to him in his first effort, but then he just didn't have enough ERS or tyre wear in the second effort and just gave up. Speed did improve, but not enough. Not enough. He only improved by half a tenth. So here we go. What a race this is in prospect to be. We've got Short Marcus leading the championship with 2 rounds to go, including this one. And then TF Martin 8 points behind. And then Speed Alcoholic another 8 points behind him. Behind Martin. So 16 points between the 3 of them, with 2 rounds to go. And they're 2, 3, and 4 on the grid for this race. This is going to be an absolute stormer. Crowd very excited in the stands as well, as you can see. Here we go. We're going for the formation lap here for the penultimate round of ESRL Season 5. And I cannot wait. We've got a 3-way championship battle on our hands. Let's have a quick look at tyres. So we've got mediums for Lancer, Martin, Clemo, DTS, Frito, QB, and Scotty at the back. But Martin and Lancer on the mediums is the big news. Short Marcus and Speed on the hards, as well as Johnny Stokes, Spaled, Glowstick, Scott and Jacko. And then soft tyres for Aces and Woomax in P8 and P16 respectively. We'll see if they can make progress through the field. But Lancer leads us off. And there's your possible race strategies. Soft medium, according to the game. is one of the strategies you can do, or you can go for medium hard, or the other way around for both instances. So we'll see what the real strategy is. I'm sure there's got to be a safety car at some point, you would think. Someone's bound to bin it in Sector 1 at some point. Here we go. To the final sector we go. I am on tenterhooks. I cannot wait to find out what's going to happen here. Martin is going to be charging on those mediums in the opening few laps, although there's not that much difference between the two tyres on this track. Honestly, it's barely any. They could be the same tyre. Not much difference in pace, not much difference in wear. So we shall see, but Lancer coming through the line, through the final corner rather, and down towards the grid as everyone gets ready. 16 cars on the grid as Speed Alcoholic spins it, which is not a good sign, and gets disqualified as well from the formation lap. So he's going to be about 1.5 meters or a couple of meters back from his grid slot for the start of this Grand Prix. Not a good start for the man in P3. Is going to need a fantastic getaway here to not lose out to Martin. It's short. Marcus overshoots the grid box as well. Let's see how it affects the start. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the American Grand Prix. It's a brilliant start from Lancer from pole position. Short Marcus is going to be under pressure from Martin going into turn 1. The Red Bull sends it to the inside. There's a bit of contact between the two as Marcus forces him onto the curb. Speed Alcoholics is a bit wide and there's huge contact. There's a big crash on the exit of turn 1 and Speed Alcoholic is all the way down to last place. It's a disastrous start for the South African as Martin follows in through. Short Marcus spelled wrong up to P4. It threw all the chaos. Aces versus Kings and Womax making progress on their soft tyres as well. Here comes the Aston Martin. He's going to try and dispatch of Spaled as soon as he can. We're going to switch to position change. There we go. Speed Alcoholic down 13 places. Johnny Stokes down 10 as well. They've both got a lot of work to do, but especially Speed. He's all the way a few seconds back from the rest of the pack. He's got so much work to do. He needs a safety car here, but even then he's got an awful lot on his plate. Martin down the inside of his championship rival and takes P2. Marcus can do nothing about it, but he goes back round the outside in the next corner. They're still side by side. Lancer's running away with the race as a result. There's more contact further back, but Marcus has stayed ahead. He's up to P2 in these early stages, or back up to P2 I should say, and Martin's going to have to try again at some point. Ace is up 4 positions on those softs. Womax up 9 on the soft tyres. Fantastic starts for both of them. DTS Ayrton up 4 as well, and Jack Alaka and Scotty making good progress. But what a chaotic start to this Grand Prix. Speed Alcoholic will be absolutely devastated. Here comes Martin. He's using the ERS down the inside of his championship rival. He goes the same corner as on lap 1. They're going to go side by side all the way through. Just about enough space left, but they're still alongside as they go through the S's. Could this end in tears for the championship rivals? They're still side by side through the S's, but Martin finally backs out and Marcus retakes P2. This is a dream for DRL Lancer. He's so far in front already, but these two only care about each other at this stage in the race. Lap 2 of 28, a long way to go. The gaps on the side will fix themselves at the end of lap 2. They usually do. Martin sending it down the inside of Marcus again and makes the move on those medium tyres. Gets it done, but Marcus is going to use the ERS to try and get back past him. He knows he's under pressure here. He's got to stay ahead of the Red Bull as long as he can on those hard tyres. Sends it to the inside. They're alongside once again through this corner. Martin's got the inside line for the next. They're still side by side again. Can Marcus stay with him? He gets a bit of a snap on the exit, makes a bit of contact with the Red Bull, but no damage done by the looks of it. And Martin is up to P2, much to the dismay of the championship leader, who's now got Aces right behind him for company on those soft tyres. This is fantastic drama. And Aces is not going to be shy of messing with the championship contenders, I'm sure. He's just going to want to get himself on the podium here. He's got a sniff of it. DTS Ayrtons are up there as well. All of these drivers, they're not just going to back out just because they're the championship contenders. They're going to go for it here. So Marcus and Martin have got to have their wits about them. As they all file through turn one, Lancer has a lead of 4.5 seconds at the front of the field. Incredible stuff from him in these early stages. Speed is up to P13 now, but still a lot of work to do for the South African, who's going to be gutted. It was just a three-way sandwich by the looks of it on the exit of turn one, and I don't think it was anyone's fault really, but just a sort of misunderstanding of how many cars were there on the part of those drivers. But you see it so often on the exit of that corner, exactly that kind of incident. And today is no different. Here comes DTS Ayrton on the back of Aces versus Kings. He's going to go for it down the inside. They're going to nearly hit the back of Short Marcus. There is contact as DTS sends it on Aces. Nearly takes out the championship leader as a result. That would have been a very red face for the Haas driver. But Marcus seems to be really struggling on these hard tyres at the moment. Martin is in his element. He's already pulled a 1.5 second gap, but he's going to be fuming to be 4.5 seconds behind Lancer at this stage. But now Marcus has just got to focus on keeping the car steady and keeping all these cars behind him. Spelled wrong at the back of this train as well, looking to pick up any pieces. He's started on the hards as well, as here comes the Haas once again. He's got DRS this time on the Alpine, and he's going to send it to the inside. The Greek driver from P11, I think he started, to P3 in 4 laps. What an incredible start for DTS Ayrton. And he's past the championship leader as well, who's really seems to be having a bad time on those hard tyres. But he's got a long way to go on those tyres in this stint yet. So he's got to get used to them sooner rather than later, or else he's just going to be hemorrhaging positions in this first stint. And also hemorrhaging time to his championship rival, who is slowly catching Lancer at the moment. QB the first to get a track limits penalty. He will not be the last. That much is very, very certain. Speed 4 seconds behind the pack at the moment. He's trying his best to catch back up. He's on the hard tyres though, which is going to make his life even more difficult. But Johnny Stokes, in the meantime, making a move on Jack Alacco. He's also on a recovery drive. We can't forget about the McLaren driver. He started very high up in P5, I believe, and dropped all the way to the back after that collision with Speed. And he's fighting his way back through the field as well on those hard tyres, so he's making use of them in the McLaren. Speed gaining 0.5 second, though, there on that pack through that corner by the looks of it. And Marcus just got to try and stay with the Haas right now. Make sure he stays in DRS. He nearly lost it there. He was just about on that 1 second range. Aces is under pressure from the other Alpine, though, of Spelled Wrong, who goes down the inside into turn one and should make that move relatively simply. Aces is going to start struggling on those softs now, as is Womax. They've both made a crazy amount of progress in these opening laps, but now comes the tyre deficit, and they're going to start struggling really quickly now. Those softs barely last at all on this track. And indeed, he seems to be losing a lot of time to those drivers he passed with such ease in the opening laps. Johnny Stokes right behind Womax as well. The Williams does not have DRS, so Johnny should be able to make this move pretty easily on the DRS straight. And there we go, pulls to the inside and gets it done. Up to P8 he goes on the hard tyres. He's flying on those tyres in stark contrast to Speed Alcoholic, who seems to be struggling. He is catching the pack though, but not as quickly as you might expect from qualifying. So I think, like Short Marcus, he's struggling a little on those hard tyres as Womack loses 5 positions in one straight. That is how that straight works, everyone, and you're going to see that very often over the course of this race. That is incredible. I can't believe that's happened to him. He's going to be fuming, is the Bulgarian, but he also just doesn't really have the pace, but even so, that is a lot to lose in one go. Speed Alcoholic now 1.5 seconds behind as he tries to catch back up, goes all the way over the curb to get the best exit he can, and 1.2, he's going to have DRS, I think, going down in Sector 2 now. Meanwhile, DTS Ayrton 3.5 seconds behind Martin, who has caught Lancer by over a second since we last checked. He's now under 3 seconds behind the Haas, and looking, if he can take this win, he is going to have a huge advantage in the Drivers' Championship standings. He's only 8 points behind Marcus. We're using the normal F1 point system here in ESRL, so it's 25 for a win, 18 for second. If Marcus finishes even third here and Martin wins the race, Mar will be leading the championship by 2 points heading into Brazil, and it's going to be an incredible finale regardless, I'm sure, but the implications of where everyone is right now are immense as Marcus continues to just about stay in range of DTS Ayrton. Speldwong right behind his teammate as well. He's not struggled so much on the hards. He was a long way behind his teammate in qualifying, but in race pace on these hard tyres seems to be matching him at this stage. Jack Alaco now with a 3-second time penalty down in P9. Last race is Brazil, Louis. Absolutely. It's going to be a crazy finale. I think ESRL always does their last race in Brazil every single season. So, yeah, as usual, QB is round. I didn't mean to say that straight after I said as usual. That's not very nice. I was referring to the previous thing I said. I promise, QB. The best track for a closer. Yeah, it's pretty damn good. Always produces a fantastic race, in my experience. But Short Marcus now right behind DTS. I think he's gotten the hang of these hards, and the Haas driver starting to struggle on these mediums. Takes a very different line through the first corner in Sector 2. But I think his line is the better one from my experience. An outside line to come in to the apex and get the best exit you can. And DTS with a bit of a wobble on the exit, and this should be Marcus clean through down towards this next corner. DRS open, he takes the outside line. Shortest path to success, and Speldwong might follow him here. The Haas driver, though, going to send it to the inside of the other Alpine and forces Speldwong off the track. There's a bit of argy-bargy there between the two, but the Haas driver has stayed ahead for now. Speld isn't going to be incensed with that move, I'm sure, as Ace is just behind them, locks the rears and spins all the way around, somehow manages to catch it, but surely he's going to have to come in soon for those softs. He and Womack are hemorrhaging time right now, as Short Marcus now tries to speed off into the distance and take advantage of DTS blocking his teammate. But it's not to be, as the Haas has such a good exit out of that final corner every lap at the moment. And Marcus unable to shake him for now. But he's 6 seconds behind Martin. Wow, that is a huge gap, as Friedo nearly loses the car on the exit of turn 1. But Marcus, I think, is going to be praying for a safety car at the right time here, because otherwise he's got no chance. He's already so far behind his main championship rival, and Martin is still catching the race leader, and Marcus is going to be giving Lancer all the power he can to try and hold off Martin here, who has a massive moment on the exit of that corner there. It just about keeps it under control, as DTS Ayrton now has the DRS on Marcus, but I think he's too far behind to really send it into this corner, and indeed that is the case. They all go single file as QB gets himself another penalty. Speed Alcoholic making more progress up to P10, a double overtake from the Ferrari driver. He is flying his way through, carving through the pack, as Jacko, I think, nearly went into the back of him there and loses the place to Scotty as a result. And yeah, that will be heart in the mouth for the Scottish driver there. He does not want to hit the back of the championship contender in the penultimate race of the season. That would be a disaster. It's Clemo looking to make progress as well, trying to get past Johnny Stokes at this point, who's done pretty well for a recovery so far. Ace is finally into the pits on those soft tyres. He decided enough is enough, as Clemo puts the pressure on the McLaren, but can't make a move into turn 1 for now. And Friedo the next to get a track limits penalty. That's 3 seconds on the Alfa Romeo, and I wonder if any of the championship contenders will get one as well. I think the most vulnerable to getting one is probably this man, because he's got to fight his way through the whole pack. Yeah, he could struggle for track limits as a result, but at the moment seems relatively okay in that Ferrari. No penalty to his name yet. We don't know how many warnings he has, though. 1.5 seconds between these two between him and these two drivers ahead of him. He's come all the way from the back up to P9 already in 9 laps. So he's doing a fantastic job as the two ahead battle for position, but Clemo is ahead well before the braking zone, and no side-by-side action there, which would have helped speed through that corner. Jacko and Scotty getting some side-by-side action though, as Jacko makes the move on the Mercedes. Scotty hits the back of him there, and that's a penalty. That's a hugely important penalty for DRL Lancer, who is still leading this race, but that 3-second penalty as it stands would drop him behind Martin and give Mar the lead of the race. Scotty bins it in the long right-hander. It's normally flat out, but when the tyres start wearing, that can easily happen. He's got to do a 3-point turn to get himself back on the circuit and make sure he doesn't impede anyone as well, but he's going to be gutted with that one, but at least seems to have avoided any damage. Do you even need to say it? No, you don't, Louis. Jacko with a 3-second penalty now as well, down in P10. Just after the driver he was battling with had a spin. And Speed Alcoholic still 1.8, 1.9 seconds behind these two, not catching them as at the moment. Not really unlocking the race pace that he could be capable of based on his qualifying performance. But it's hard when he's fought his way through the pack. He's got to make some more progress now, but they're going to have DRS in front of him as well, which won't help his cause. As Marcus stays ahead of DTS for another lap. 8.5 seconds now between him and Martin. It is not remotely close, and Martin is in a net P1 after track limits penalties. And as it stands, it would be Martin leading the championship going into the finale next week, 2 points ahead of short Marcus, with Speed too far behind. Yeah, he would be out of contention as it stands. He would be 25 points behind, I believe. Yeah, he'd be too far behind, so he needs to make more progress to stay in this championship, and I think he's got to just hope for a safety car at this point. Clemo round the outside of Friedo in the meantime, at turn 1, getting his way up to P6, a good move from the German, as he tries to get on track with those top 5. DTS Ayrton very close to the back of Marcus through sector 1, maybe a mistake from the championship leader. That's DTS right behind, and Marcus makes a big error from the championship leader in sector 2 on lap 11. He's just lost the rear end. He's just about managed to keep it facing the right way, but look who he's got right behind him. It's Speed Alcoholic, who's now going to try and make some moves. He's gifting Speed the DRS as well. Here comes the Ferrari. He's got ERS in hand as well. Here he comes, the two championship rivals fighting in an unlikely position in in the field, but Speed round the outside of the Alpine. Marcus brakes very late and keeps him behind. Brilliant hard racing between the two as Speed sends it down the inside again for the next corner. That's still side by side as they go through the final sector now. But it's Marcus who takes the inside line. Speed tries to get the switchback, but it's so hard at that corner because the camber just makes you lose the rear if you try and switch back on someone. As they go through the long right-hander, Speed practically pushing his rival through, nearly hitting the back of him in the braking zone, going wide at the blind left-hander. And this is absolutely fantastic. If only it was for P1, but it's for P8 as it stands, with Martin nearly in DRS range of the race leader now, and we look at Jackalacco go round at the final corner. Just as we were watching those two in front, and he's going to be under pressure from Aces, who gets past after his pit stop. Womack's into the pits after 11 laps on those soft tyres. I don't know how he survived that long on those tyres. But Marcus and Speed continuing to battle now for this P8 position. That will have surely been a track limits warning for the South African there. He was all the way over the white line by the looks of it. Martin is in DRS range now of Lancer, and he's catching very fast. Here he goes to the inside for the race lead. Goes Martin on track. Goes down the inside but loses the rear, locks up into the corner, and Lancer retakes the lead. But surely it's only a matter of time. The pace that Martin has in this race is absolutely incredible. DTS, Spaled Wrong and Clemo nearly 3 wide going into the same corner, just a bit 10 seconds behind. But Spaled and DTS still side by side as they go through. Spaled up into the podium places. This is what I mean about him picking up pieces. Clemo down the inside of the Haas as well. In the meantime, a bit of wheel banging between the two all the way through the corner. But I think Clemo has made the move stick. He's got the outside line, but he's got the move. And Lancer now into the pits at this lap 12 of 13, trying to get the undercut on Martin. It is huge around here, the undercut. DTS Ayrton has the same idea, comes in with his teammate. He shouldn't get double stacked. He's more than far enough behind, I think, to have a clean pit stop. But Spaled Wrong, it means he's up to P2. Clemo onto the podium now from all the way back where he started, and Johnny Stokes has recovered all the way up to P4. Marcus and Speed in P5 and 6, not that far behind them as well. And Marcus is out of ERS. Speed has got plenty left, so he knows that the Alpine is vulnerable. But Jackalacco's retired from the session. That's in the pit lane. He's had enough. He's had a bad day. He's had a bad day. I don't blame him at all. But Speed Alcoholic right behind his championship rival here. He's going to have the DRS. He knows that there's no ERS left on that Alpine. He can tell by the flashing red light. Pushes him through that corner. ERS deployed. It's going to be DRS as well. To the inside goes the South African. They're going to go side by side down towards the corner. Marcus using everything he has and more, but it's not enough. Speed Alcoholic up to P5 as he continues his recovery drive. What a recovery it's been so far. I really feel sorry for Jacko, but I think he'll just be happy to not be racing anymore tonight. Johnny Stokes 1.7 ahead of Speed at the moment. These three battling it out for P2. Spaled Wrong might be given orders by Speed to try and hold these guys up, but there's a bit of contact as they go through. Spaled went very wide and Clemo tried to take advantage, but Spaled took the line, and Clemo just about keeping his car facing the right way. That was very, very close. Johnny Stokes into the pits, as well as the race leader, Martin, or the former race leader, as I say. And look where he's come out. He's come out 1.3 seconds behind Lancer, 2 seconds behind Lancer, and he's going to be on cold tyres as well. Lancer getting past Marcus in the meantime for P4. Lancer's already pitted, by the way. Marcus hasn't pitted yet, neither has Speed. So they're in big trouble here in this race. Are they going to go hard, soft and risk it, or do the normal hard-medium strategy? It remains to be seen, but Marcus has already fallen out the DRS range. He's really struggling for race pace today, and that mistake that he made a few laps ago. He's going to be kicking himself for that, but now he's going to try and make life as difficult as possible for the driver behind him, as Lancer now makes the move on Speed Alcoholic. He's going to have the DRS. Speed has the DRS as well, though, so it's not going to be an easy move for the Haas. He sends it down the inside. Clemo and Spale side by side as well, further up, but Lancer makes the move. Clemo a bit squirrely on the exit there after his battle with Spaled, and Lancer looking to retake the lead in just a few corners time if he can. Is he going to send it to the inside? Yes, he is, of Clemo into this high camber left-hander, and he's made the move stick. Wonderful overtake from Lancer as he tries to retake the lead of this race now. Down the inside, it's identical to the previous lap, but with a different car, with Spaled on the outside there. Spaled keeps the place on the inside for the next corner. He's trying to hold these guys up for his teammate, but it could be futile. Martin and Marcus side by side. Marcus into the pits though. He's trying to get the undercut on Speed, as Lancer finally gets his way back into the lead of this race past Spaled Ron, who's now going to try and hold up Martin as much as he can. Speed Alcoholic will likely do the same, but surely he's going to pit soon as well to cover off Marcus, who's coming for the medium tyres to the end now. But it is Lancer who leads. Martin all the way down in P5. He's got 4 cars to get past. That was surely a warning for him there. He was all the way over the white line at that left-hander. So easy to do there. So easy to go over the white line. But they all go through these 5 all in a DRS train now. DTS Ayrton's gone round in Sector 1. Luckily seems to have gotten away without damage, but he has spun it, and all his fantastic work in the first stint is undone. He's going to be gutted with that, and he's back behind Short Marcus, who's trying to find his way back into this race. He's 1.5 seconds behind Johnny Stokes even, who's already pitted, as well as Lost Friedo, and him and the McLaren are going to go side by side while we watch. Johnny Stokes getting his way ahead, but Martin and Speed Alcoholic are side by side, the 2 rivals for the championship, or 2 of the 3, battling it out now in this section of the track. Through Sector 3, Speed retains the not the lead, but the lead of the 2, as the 2 cars ahead both come in, but Spaled Wrong is very wide as he comes into the pits. Did he take damage, I wonder? Let's try and find out, but Martin down the inside of Speed. He's surely going to make this move into turn 1, and does. Martin up to P2, but he's lost 3 seconds to Lancer, which he's got to try and find and get back up to the back of the Haas again. Looks like Spaled survived without any damage, but he's down to P8 now. And look at this, he's right behind his teammate. He's come out. Marcus has done well on that outlap, but now he's got to clear Clemo, who's going to be so slow through these S's, and Marcus knows it. He needs to clear this Red Bull, but he just can't. There's no way through at this part of the track. He's going to lose so much time behind this Red Bull. He's going to send it to the inside. He's desperate to make the move. There's a bit of contact as they go through as well. Marcus, championship on the line, making a brave move to try and not lose as much time as he can. Jack, I do not blame you at all, mate. Get some rest, get a drink, and just stop racing for tonight. Honestly, honestly, mate, it's not been a good day for you through no fault of your own. Just get some relaxing in for the rest of the weekend. Clemo right behind Marcus in the meantime, but Marcus trying to catch up to Lost Friedo. Scott gets a penalty at the back, but that penalty for Lancer, he's going to be ruining that, because he could maybe hold off Martin for the win here if he's feeling brave enough. With the defense, as Speed finally comes into the pits, but he's going to get undercut by all of these guys. I think he's going to come out behind Spaled Wrong here. It's right on board with the Alpine driver as he comes around the final corner. Where's the Ferrari? He's just exiting the pits now, but Spaled is coming down the straight. Can we see the Ferrari on the left-hand side of the screen? Yes, we can. He's just come out of the pits there, but he's behind Spaled Wrong. He's all the way down in P9 as the Alpine driver goes to the inside of Clemo. These 2 fighting again in this race. But it's Clemo who retains the advantage through the S's, and Spale's not going to be able to do much there. And this is all helping Speed get back into DRS range and warm up his tyres in this first sector. Short Marcus up to P6 in the meantime. He's got to get past Lost and then past Aces to get himself into 4th, and then it's Johnny Stokes between him and a podium. I think that's got to be his goal today. If Martin's going to win this race, he has to finish on the podium. He can't afford to lose those points for not doing so. Glowstick gets a penalty all the way at the back, as now Short Marcus goes for the move on the Alfa Romeo round the outside, and he's going to get that done before the braking zone, but Lost nearly into the back of him as they brake for the corner. That was very, very close to disaster, but Marcus survives, and he's up to P5 now and chasing after the Aston Martin of Aces, and his goal has to be the podium. He cannot accept anything less from today if Martin is indeed going to win this race. Clemo right behind the Alfa Romeo as well, looking to go around the outside of that corner. That's not going to work. Both of these two out of ERS entirely. Spale still has some left. Speed as well, as they're side by side through the final corner. Lost very early on the brakes to the inside. Speed Alcoholic looking for a way past both of them. It's going to be another glorious double overtake from the Ferrari driver down into turn 1. He's going to be side by side with Spale, wrong, but he's made the moves, and he's up to P7 as he continues his charge all the way from the back of the grid. He's going to be fuming. He's going to feel like he could have won this race if it wasn't for that contact at the start, but he's recovered so well, and it's not even over yet. Short Marcus in the meantime getting past Aces versus Kings at the same spot. I don't think there was much drama involved in that overtake, as Aces goes all the way off the track and into the gravel. Nearly spaled wrong, just about has to avoid him there as he goes past. But that's another place gained for Speed Alcoholic as a result, who's now right behind Clemo, and he can see the Red Bulls out of ERS. He uses his overtake button to clear this Red Bull and get chasing after Short Marcus. He knows it's important. Clemo knows it's important as well as he moves to defend, but there's nothing he can do. Speed makes the move, and Clemo doesn't send it into the next corner, doesn't do anything silly on the championship rival, one of the championship protagonists. And Speed up to P5 and within DRS range of Short Marcus as well, and with 2 laps fresher tyres, and perhaps that overcut could well work for the South African if he can get himself back on the podium here. But even then, he's 8 points behind Martin, so he'd be 18 behind if he finished P3 and Mar won this race, as it looks like he's going to. So it's damage control for both of these championship protagonists as they go side by side down towards turn 1 again. Not for the first time today, but it's Speed Alcoholic who breaks late and gets the move done up to P4. Fantastic stuff for the Ferrari. And then his next target is the McLaren, 2.5 seconds up the road, but Marcus is not going to let him go that easily. He's going to try and stay in DRS range and put him under pressure down the next DRS zone. But he's got to be careful here, because like I say, he needs that podium, really. He can't really afford to finish 4th here. And he needs to make sure that I think, gets pulled along by Speed and up towards Johnny, because I don't think he has the pace to do it himself. And indeed, he stays behind the Ferrari into the braking zone. He's got to stay with him, though. He's got to allow Speed to pull him along. Scott retires in the pit lane. He's had enough as well of this race. And I think he's just come to watch the battles at the front. Martin is within range of Lancer as well for the race lead down towards turn 1, but we've got to keep an eye on these guys too. It's P2, P4 and P5 for the main championship protagonist, but it's going to be a massively important race win for Martin if he can pull it off. Johnny Stokes is just ahead of Speed Alcoholic, who has gotten rid of Marcus here. Marcus just does not have the race pace today at Kota. But there's yellow flags in Sector 1. That's the retired car of Scott. I thought someone had gone round, but no, it's fine. But they're 17 seconds behind the race leaders, this pack. Johnny Stokes under pressure from the South African, trying to get himself back on the podium. What an incredible recovery this would be if he can make it stick. He's still got a fair amount of ERS left compared to how much everyone's got. That could have been a track limits warning. He's got to be careful. He can't afford to get a track limits penalty now. But here comes Martin for the lead of the race on track. Brakes late. Is he going to lock up again like last time? Yes, but it's not quite as costly, but Lancer doesn't care. He goes to switch back anyway, and it's going to be a double switcheroo from Lancer. He's got the outside line. It's going to be the outside line again for the next corner, but he's going to switch back again to the inside, and Lancer retakes the lead of the race. He's desperately hoping for Martin to get a penalty here so he can win this one. And how important it would be in terms of the championship if Lancer can prevent Martin from winning this race. But Mar is a man on a mission. Only half a second back. He doesn't have to make this move, and he knows that the Haas is low on ERS now. He can see the flashing red light on the back of the Haas. Johnny Stokes now with a penalty. That's got championship implications as well, because Marcus is behind him. But Marcus has got his own problems. He's got Clemo right behind, and Clemo sees that he's vulnerable too, but none of these guys really have any ERS left as they all hurtle towards turn one. Spelled wrong, looks to the inside of the Red Bull but doesn't make the move, and Clemo just pushes Marcus through turn one. Lancer driving out of his mind, says Louis in the chat. He certainly is, trying to keep Mar behind and just force him into a mistake to get a track limits penalty, but at the moment it's not happening. The German driver is desperate to get this race win and get himself to be the championship leader going into the final race. What a turnaround it would be if he could after his DNF in Abu Dhabi, which he would have been absolutely gutted about. To this now, to be within just a few points of Marcus, or even ahead of him at this late stage in the championship, and Marcus is now under pressure from Clemo. This P4 is not guaranteed at all for the Alpine driver, and Clemo gets ahead, and he's going to try and do his teammate a solid here. Spelled wrong. I don't think he's going to fight too hard with Marcus, but if there's a mistake from Marcus, he will gladly take the position, I think. As it stands, he is out of the Drivers' Championship race. Mathematically, unfortunately for him, but what a season he's had regardless. As Johnny Stokes now still under pressure from Clemo and short Marcus, but he's got that track limits penalty, so he's going to drop behind all of those three cars behind him if it ends right now. Onto lap 22 of 28. 7 laps to go in this thrilling Grand Prix as Martin continues to stay behind the Haas of Lancer, who's still got no ERS left. I'm surprised that they didn't swap positions on the last lap, but Marcus now under pressure from his teammate. He's struggling so much on those medium tyres at this stage in the race. He's just not having a good time today at Kota. Clearly not a favoured track of his. But it seems like most of the second half of the season hasn't been a favoured track for him on race pace, at least. He had a brilliant quali, but just hasn't had the race pace to keep up. Clemo right behind Johnny Stokes, and here comes the move for the lead. It's Martin into the lead of the race. Lancer's got a great American tribute helmet on for this Grand Prix, but he's going to send it to the inside. They're still battling as they go through here. Martin can do nothing but watch the Haas go past, and Lancer retakes the lead again, but he's gone deep, and Martin's going to try and get the switch back, but can't quite do it as they all file through. I do apologise for that awful camera angle, by the way. I had nothing to do with it, I swear. But Marcus down to P6. He's got to try and clear Johnny Stokes and try and get onto the back of Clemo, but he's going to lose so many points in this championship battle as it stands. Speed Alcoholic is in P3. He's doing the best that he can. He's only 12.5 seconds behind them. It was 16, 17 seconds just a few laps ago. If these two continue to battle hard, then Speed could be in with a shot of getting P2 here from the penalty that Lance has got. As QB goes round further back, he's already lapped as well. But Here you go, these two through the S's again for this race lead. Speed Alcoholic is chasing them down with those medium tyres. He is really getting them up to speed. He's already 3 seconds ahead of Clemo. He's catching those top two, but is it going to be enough? He lost so much from that turn one incident. He's going to be gutted about that at the end of this race, regardless of what happens, I think. Unless there's a very late safety car which would bring him back into it. I mean, imagine the drama. Imagine the drama if someone crashes now and there's a safety car. It would be absolute bedlam in the pack if that happened. But Marcus, it's just damage control for the championship leader right now. He's in a net P5, but that would lose him a ton of points in this championship battle to TF Mar10, who's still just sticking behind Lancer, not going for the move. He's got 60% ERS in the tank. Lancer has got less than 10%. You can see from the flashing red light as well. Mar10 just keeping it sensible here, not looking to make this move when he doesn't have to. He knows Lancer is going to defend this for his life because he wants the race win. He doesn't care that he's fighting one of the championship contenders. He wants to win the race. And that is exactly what he's doing at the moment. But that track limits penalty is going to cost him so much. Speed Alcoholic still in P3, still catching them, but it's not quick enough. 11 seconds behind with 5 laps to go. He caught them by another second in the last lap, but again, he needs a lot more than that. He needs to find 8 seconds in the next 5 laps, so he needs these two to battle hard. But Mar10 is being a sensible driver today. He's not going for any sense. He knows Lancer is defending for his life. He just wants to profit from that 3-second penalty that the Haas has got. Clemo in P4, Johnny Stokes in P5. Still, Marcus is not able to make any progress here. And he's going to have the DRS, but he's not going to have any chance of getting through. Glow stick retires in the pit lane, so doesn't cause a safety car. That was a bit of a moment there. I thought it was coming, but it's just a pit lane retirement. So here comes Marcus now on the inside of the McLaren, makes the move into the end of the DRS zone. He's up to P5 on track, and now Clemo is next in his sights. But just look at the difference in pace between him and Speed. I know he's got 2 laps older tyres, but even so, just throughout this race, it looks like Speed has had the edge on him. It looks like, to be honest, in terms of pure pace, I wish I could see the stats for it, but Speed has been probably the fastest driver on track, has lost Frido and DTS Ayrton have a very nice battle with Aces right behind them. There's big contact and DTS is round. Aces was on the inside. Aces is round as well. They're both spinning around in the final sector, and they're both going to be annoyed about that one, but at least they're still in the points, unlike Glowstick, who has said in the chat that he just retired because he was too far off the points, which is fair enough. I mean, if there's a safety car, then you're right back in it. But it looks like we're going to have a clean green flag race, much to the dismay of the likes of Speed Alcoholic and Short Marcus, who would love a safety car right now. But it just hasn't happened for them. And I think it's too late for it to come out now. DTS and Aces both retire in the pits, even though they're both in the points. I don't know why that's happened. I don't know why they've done that, but they've both retired in the pit lane, and, well, Glowstick would have been in the points now if he'd stayed in this race. Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. If you're not enjoying the race, if you're having a terrible time and you're out of the points, and it's always very tempting to retire, but these things can happen. Womack's now up to P10. And we go on to lap 26 and out of 28, and that means no safety car will be coming out this race. It's too late now. So Speed Alcoholic has got to catch them on pure pace alone and hope that they battle, but Mar10 is being smarter than that today. He's not battling at all with the Haas. He's just staying behind him. He's just going to profit off that track limits penalty. Speed Alcoholic is doing the best he can. He's been so so fast today, but that turn one incident will be haunting his memory because it's lost him so many potential points in this championship battle. If he'd been up there in those top three today, or those top two today, then he could have won this race and got himself just 1 point behind Martin, who would have been leading the championship. And I mean, how fate can turn these kinds of championships around. And well, as it stands, Martin is going to win the race. Speed will finish P3. He'll be 18 points behind going into the finale. Short Marcus was 8 ahead of Martin going into this race. As it stands, it would be 15, 12, 10. He'd score 10 points, so he'd lose 15, so he'd be 7 points behind. So it'd be Martin, then Marcus 7 behind, then Speed 18 behind Mar. And Spelled Wrong would be out of championship contention. Still two laps to go in this race after this one, though. Speed Alcoholic is still catching them, but it's just not enough for him. 8.9 seconds, 9 seconds now. I think those tyres are starting to go underneath him. And with 2 laps to go, he's going to need a miracle to have any chance of getting any higher than P3. But still, what an incredible recovery it's been for him. Martin right behind Lancer still, not making any kinds of moves. So many drivers doing this. Oh my gosh, Martin has got a penalty. Martin with a 3-second time penalty, and now he has to push. He has to get past the Haas. He can't afford now to sit back behind. He's going to be fuming in that cockpit that he's done that. But he's got to get past the Haas now for this race win, and the championship has changed complexion once again. He's pushing hard, you can see by the slide out that corner, but he's got so much ERS to play with. Lancer's got barely any. Martin's going to have to do this on the final lap. He's got the DRS, he's going to send it to the inside, maybe. Lancer defends, but Martin stays behind. He's not using any ERS. He has about 100% in the tank. It's incredible stuff, but Lancer has 20%. It's not enough to defend with, I would have thought, on that long straight. He's going to need a whole host of attacking and defending moves to retain this race win, but now he has a chance. We're going on to the final lap. Both of the top two now have a track limits penalty. Martin has got to make this overtake. He's been resting on his laurels this whole second stint, just sitting behind, relying on that track limits penalty for Lancer, and now it could come back to bite him. Final lap of the Grand Prix. This is so crucial. It's 7 points in it. It's a huge difference between P1 and P2. He's got to make this move. We'll stay with the top two. There's not really any other major battles happening. I think Marcus is consigned to P5. Speed is consigned to P3 unless anything happens here. These two could battle big time as they go through this final lap. 28 of 28, Martin and Lancer, they've been together all race long, apart from at the start when Lancer pulled ahead, but Martin had the better race pace. DTS Ayrton, sorry, he's already retired. He's now left the session, but here we go through onto the final straight. Martin doesn't get the best exit, but look how much ERS he's got. Lancer's already running out. There's the flashing red light. Here comes the Red Bull. He's got so much more overspeed as they go down towards the corner. Lancer looks to the inside, but he can't make a dive bomb into the corner, but Martin locks up again. They're side by side through the final sector of this Grand Prix. Lancer's going to try the switchback. He's going to have the outside line for the next corner. Is he going to do the switchback again? No, but it's going to be the outside, and he's going to try and switch back on the exit, but Martin has the lead. Lancer is going to do his best, and he sends it to the inside of the long, flat-out right-hander. Surely not. They're still side by side, but Martin's going to have the inside line. Lancer pushes him through the penultimate corner. He's going to send it for the final corner. They're still battling it through the final corner, but Martin has done enough. He wins the US Grand Prix. What an incredible battle with amazing championship implications as well. My voice is gone, as you can tell. Speed Alcoholic finishes a fantastic P3. Clemo in P4. Marcus down in 5th. What an incredible Grand Prix. Johnny Stokes in 6th. Spelled Wrong finishes 7th. Lost Frito finishes 8th on his debut by the looks of it. Scotty is going to come home in P9. Unless he bins it there, he nearly did. But here comes Lost through the final few corners on his debut. Round the final corner comes the Alfa Romeo, and he is going to finish in P8 on his debut in ESRL. Scotty is going to finish in 9th place, and Womack will take the final point home with him for the Williams drivers, for the Williams team. So 25. Who got fastest lap actually? Who got fastest lap? Speed got the fastest lap, so that's an extra point for him. But we'll review how the points shake out once all is said and done. But what an incredible ending to this US Grand Prix. Martin and Lancer scrapping for that race win, but for one driver it meant so much more in terms of the championship. But Martin comes away with the race victory. There he is on the podium. Lance in the chat saying it was a taster for next season. I mean, incredible racing all the way through. Close, hard, important battles going on up and down the grid. There's your podium. It's Martin who takes an incredibly important race win in Texas, with Lancer coming in P2 in the end. He'll be gutted, but what a performance he put in to try and keep hold of that win. Speed Alcoholic recovers from the back of the grid after an incident at the start all the way up to P3, with Clemo in P4 in the end. Marcus, the former championship leader, now in 5th place today. Johnny Stokes, P6. Lost Frido in P7 on his debut. Scotty, P8, with Womack rounding out the top 10. Spaled Wrong finished, I think, 7th in the end, but the game DNF'd him because he left the session. QB in P11, a lap down, and then Aces, DTS Ayrton, Glowstick, Scott, and Jacko unable to finish the race. Now then, Drivers' Championship. Martin was 8 points behind Marcus. So Marcus will have gotten 10 points. So it will be a 7-point lead for Martin over Short Marcus going into the final race of the season. Speed Alcoholic will be 17 points behind Martin. 17 because of the fastest lap. But he's going to be feeling like it could have been so much more. He should have been there for the race victory, but still, what a recovery it was. And, well, I'm out of breath. Don't know about you guys. Yeah, Speed, you're my driver of the day without a shadow of a doubt. What an incredible recovery. You did absolutely everything you could. You really deserved a safety car there to get a chance at the race win, but it just didn't happen. You only spun once, by the way. That's not too bad. At a track like this, that's not too bad. Trust me. But, well, final round of the season is next week in Brazil. 17 points separate our top 3, but 7 points separate the top 2. So, and that, by the way, is the difference between a race win and P2. So, it is still very much all to play for in this championship. Speed, I'm afraid to say, is likely going to need a lot of luck to have a chance at the championship next week, but he mathematically has a shot. He's 17 points behind Martin and 10 points behind Marcus, so if it all goes wrong for those two, he could be in. And Brazil, I know, is a track he absolutely adores, so do not count him out. Do not count out Marcus, but Martin is going to be leading the championship going into the final round. What an incredible finale we have in store. Make sure to join me next week for it. Do not miss it. Next Friday, same time. Join me there. But in the meantime, have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you next time for more ESRL. Goodbye.